Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm Neville No Shorty, and I'm to review a Sumerian comic book right now. It is Rock and Roll Hell, and at this point, I usually start telling you stuff about the creators and the artists, the writer, and all that kind of thing. But I've read this thing cover to cover, and on the front and the back and on the inside, and there's no title page. And honestly, I think I could Google the creators, but honestly, it feels like a very black metal kind of thing to not put your credits in a comic book, so I'm gonna go with it. It's created by some people who like heavy metal. There we go. And it's about heavy metal, which is something, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I'm into. And I have some thoughts about the actual representation of this genre, not just in terms of how the comic book is good, like for just writing and art in general, but also what it can do with heavy metal. And this one has a few beats that I want to talk about. We're going to start with the artwork, because it didn't take me long to get a bit of a Daniel Warren Johnson vibe from it, which is absolutely fine. The guy's a fantastic artist. This is a little bit more low-key, though. Maybe even low-fi, probably the best way of putting it. It's not like there's anything particularly wrong with it. It's superb at times. It uses this kind of fuzzy lines for action rather than motion lines, which I really like. There's some great individual moments of characters, and there's some really nice detail throughout as well. One of my favourite bits is a point when a sleazy human comb-over record exec turns up, wearing a slightly ill-fitting suit, and you can literally see the roll of fat all the way around his neck over the top of his shirt collar. And I just kind of like that little bit of detail in there, just to make him just look a little bit like, oh man, this guy's really trying too hard to fit in this suit and play the role. And he's written fantastically, and it's over the top, but so is everything else about this comic book. There's nothing about it which is subtle. It's not a bad thing. It's setting out to do something, and it does it quite effectively in just a one-shot issue. The fact that it's a one-shot does have some issues, though. The fact that we have 4 members of a band, but only a handful of pages to get to know them. They're drawn kind of loose and basic. They are tropey. They fit into easily manageable ideas of a character without necessarily having a lot of depth to them. And that's fine. If they come back and do more in this world, I think there is room to let these characters grow. But within the first few pages, you already know who these people are. In fact, there's like a great shot of backstage where there's just a little box text, like maybe a sentence for each person. And that seems to be kind of enough, and that's all the character you get from them. And again, it's fine. You've only got so many pages, I can't criticise them. It's clear what they've set out to do. But the writing between them is fantastic, and it does add some depth, so there's that too. The story is very much a good versus evil, heaven versus hell kind of thing, but obviously it's heavy metal, so the good versus evil is, well, it's going to be the way you expect it to be, but not the way other people might expect it to be. You literally have heaven being a force of control, where instead of it's, go and try and be good people, it's do exactly what we tell you, and if you don't, we're going to punish you. And this leads to quite an interesting little take for me, which is the idea that rather than most popular ideas, they've taken their own take on this one, and trust me, this is not being backed up by any biblical literature or anything like that. They literally have this idea that Jesus is the angry one and God's a little bit more blasé about the entire thing, because he's God, he's fine, whatever happens, he's God. Whereas Jesus literally died for our sins, and then I spent the past few centuries just watching humanity destroy the planet and each other and like totally ignore everything, and I can totally get that he'd be really, really bitter, but he's also very human, which I quite like, including having at one point, the first time you see him, he's got crucifix on the wall behind him, which is messed up for a start, but carved into the bottom of it is YOLT, so instead of you only live once, it's you only live twice. Silly as all hell, but I love that little joke, and it did set me up quite nicely, because I like page 2, so I was into this very early on. So yes, you have this idea that Jesus come down to punish and smite everyone. He's gone for heavy metal festival, because of course you have, it is the devil's music, but that kind of leads quite nicely into what the good guys in the story are going to do, which is summon Satan and get an army of demons and devils, and also various heavy metal, indie, old black metal kind of people from past and future to come together and fight against the evil angels. Although to be fair, not all the angels are evil. Some of them are just like doing their job, which again, not a great excuse. We've been there before, surely, but at least it kind of gives some nuance. With the limited page count it's got, it does the best it can do. But my other big criticism here, in fact, pretty much my only big criticism, is my expectation. Because when I got a Daniel Warren Johnson vibe from it, I'm instantly thinking of something like Murder Falcon, one of my all-time favourite comic books, which shows that there's more to heavy metal than just a way of expressing hatred and anger, but not necessarily in a way that's destructive. Like, you can hate oppression, and you can be angry at patriarchy, and heavy metal kind of gives you a way out of doing that in a way that's kind of safe, because everyone is understanding what's going on with it. But I think it does more than that. There's issues of camaraderie, and the fact that it can be quite a progressive space, not perfect. There are better YouTubers than me out there who'll get details about that kind of thing, but I still think there's room to actually get into more of what heavy metal can be and what it is for people. And the fact that we were only doing a one-shot, I can't really hold it against comic book too much, but as an expectation thing, I kind of wanted a little bit more. But I'm not going to really get on my high horse on this one. It's funny, it's full of action, there's brutal violence throughout, but they never really drag you into the viscera. They seem quite happy just to show it you and be like, isn't this cool? Here's a bit more. Isn't it violent? Brilliant. And then just carry on with the story. It's all the violence used to be done, rather, not really to shock, but just to be like, hey, isn't this cool? And again, I kind of sympathise, and I have no problem with this as a story beat. I have no problem with anything really at all, apart from a few minor personal issues. It's genuinely a lot of fun. If you're into heavy metal, if you're into horror, I'd say give it a shot. It's a one-off comic book. You can't really have too high expectations, but I guarantee you most of them are going to be met. Okay, and that's it for me. I'm going to carry on with my week. I'll do more reviews. Make sure you do whatever you need to do so you don't miss any of them. Until I see you again, though, take it easy, everyone. Look after each other. Stay safe. Bye.